Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well today. In this video, I'm going to show you a few DeFi protocols where you can park your excess cash reserves. This huge pullback got me thinking that maybe I should revise my overall strategy just a bit. I haven't made any commitments just yet, but I'm thinking about taking out a portion of all the profits I make on a weekly basis and putting a portion of them into a stable farm. And I've told you guys in the past that I'm thinking about cashing out significant portions in Q3 and Q4, provided that it's almost impossible to time the exact top. I'm thinking that it's probably best to just start scaling out at some point. Of course, like I said earlier, that I'm not committed and all of this is subject to change. If you're curious to know what I end up doing, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and definitely check out my Discord channel. I'm super blessed to have a really good community. It never gets toxic. There's never any drama, but there's always lots of alpha. So it's a really good forum for you guys to exchange ideas and learn through dialogue. But if you're not into Discord, at the very least, make sure you guys give me a follow on Twitter. This way you can get my market insights in real time, and you can also learn about projects that I'm interested in. With the intro out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into this video. Alright, to start this video, let me go over a few stable farms on the Binance Smart Chain. But before I do that, I just want to explain why I like to hold some of the tokens that I farm. Let's say you started farming with stables back in October. If you decided to, let's say, just keep all the cake tokens that you were earning, at the very peak here in April, your tokens would have gone up over 80x. Which means if you were getting, let's say, an APR of 10%, but your APR based on the acquisition price would have been 800% APR at the very peak here. And because most of these protocols are highly speculative and there's no guarantee that they're going to give you returns like this, I think it's healthy to sell a portion of the farm tokens and also keep a small balance. So in the beginning, you could start off with something like selling 80% of the tokens, holding 20% of them. And as you learn more about the project, as they iterate and they deliver on their roadmap, assuming that you're still farming there, you could start shifting that allocation a bit as your conviction in the project grows. For example, you could start off 80-20 and then shift that to 50-50. And depending on which protocol you end up farming on, there's also additional opportunities for you guys to hedge. For example, if you're here on PancakeSwap and you're farming cake tokens, instead of staking your cake to earn more cake, you could stake your cake in this pool here and earn UST. Everybody has a different risk tolerance profile and we all have different goals. But with that being said, it's nice to know that you have a lot of different options when you're using these DeFi protocols. But whether you're a degen farmer or you're somebody who's just taken massive profits and you're looking to put those assets to work, here on PancakeSwap, they have a few stable pairs. For example, you can put your assets into this pool here, the UST/BUSD pool for a 14% APR. You can put it in the USDC/BUSD pool for an APR of 7.64%. They have a DAI pool here with 9.2 and a USDT pool here for an APR of 8.21%. And a common mistake that most people make is that they look at these APRs, but they don't realize that the funds that they have deposited in this pool, they're earning pool fees which aren't displayed or included in this APR calculation. This APR displayed here only tells you how much you're earning in cake tokens. If you go to the info page on PancakeSwap, you can see that the USD pairs, they're earning a substantial amount in fees just by being liquidity providers. So this is in addition to the APR that you see on the front page. Now, if you're looking to earn fatter APRs through yield farming, ApeSwap is relatively unknown. But if you compare it to a lot of the AMMs out there on BSC, I think it's one of the better ones. And you can see here, the stable pairs are providing a lucrative yield. However, the downside is that they use all the fees to buy banana tokens and burn them. So you're basically not getting anything in terms of pool fees by depositing your tokens here. And if you're looking to auto compound your reward, it's because you don't really care too much about the token, whether it's banana or it's cake, and all you care about is accumulating more stables. Well, after you make your deposit into the liquidity pool, you can bring your LP here to beefy.finace. Here on the protocol, they'll farm your token and then they'll sell it into the pair that you're in. So for example, if you're in this pool here, they'll farm your cake token, they'll sell half of it for USDC and the other half for BUSD. but they do take a 4 to 5% performance fee. There is also a deposit and a withdrawal fee, so take that into account before you make a deposit. If you have a higher risk appetite, sometimes Beefy also supports new protocols at launch, and these new protocols tend to offer the highest APRs for stables. Now the rate is likely to be transient. It's probably going to get diluted pretty quickly, especially if the protocol establishes credibility and becomes popular. Another good place to park your stables is cream.finance on BSC. Currently the rates aren't so good, but that's because they fluctuate based on market demand. Since we're in a risk-off environment, a lot of people have been liquidated or they've paid back their loans, and as a result you're seeing these very low rates. But once the market shifts back to being risk-on, we'll see these yields in the double digits. Another good protocol to check out is AutoFarm on BSC. They support a wide variety of stable pairs, and you can see that the yields are pretty robust, with some pairs being high as 34%. And what they do is they also juice up the yields with their native token Auto. So not only are you getting this APY in stables, but you're also getting this APR paid to you in the Auto token. And if you're the type that likes to split up risk, or if you're farming on multiple protocols, the nice thing about using AutoFarm or even using Beefy is the fact that they're multi-chain, which is great because instead of using a new auto compounding protocol on, let's say, Polygon, you can go ahead and use a protocol that's more established, that you know your way around, that you're familiar with. This way you can sleep a little bit better at night. Moving along, if you have your assets on Ethereum and you're okay with paying the high fees, I think Yearn hands down is probably one of the best and most safest places to park your stables. And when I say safe, I'm using it on a relative basis. This entire DeFi space is basically in beta. And since in many cases the developers are anonymous and you don't know who they are, if anything happens to your funds, there's very little you can do about it. But with that being said, out of all the protocols out there, I would rate this as being one of the more safer protocols to use. And Yearn basically is a yield aggregator. So instead of chasing yields across multiple protocols, withdrawing and redepositing funds, you can simply deposit your assets here and they'll do all of that on your behalf. Now on top of that, they also have some unique strategies. So for example, they'll use the pooled capital in a vault, farm a token, then they'll sell that token to extract yield for the users. So by depositing your stables here, you can be assured that this protocol will do its best to optimize your yield. Another protocol on Ethereum where you can get yield on your stables is Mantra DAO. This money market portion of their application is basically a fork of cream.finance from Ethereum. But what they do, unlike Cream, is they juice up the yields with their own native token. So for example, if you were to deposit USDT, you'd get 9% plus almost 5% paid to you in the token. And right now, again, because we're risk off, the yields have come down, but I've seen these yields up to 14, 15%, plus an additional 5 to 10% with the token. Moving along, another place to park your cash is Stake DAO. A lot of people don't know about this protocol, but this protocol is doing all sorts of things. It's going to allow you to manage your funds, get a good bird's eye view of where you have your assets, where they're deposited. You can exchange your assets on this platform. And they've also integrated passive income strategies from other protocols into their user interface. Currently, their curve strategy for USD is earning 7.3%, but on average, when the market is doing okay, it's around 12%. But you also earn an additional yield paid to you in their native token SDT. So if you take your LP position from the previous page and you deposit it here, you're gonna get 12% paid to you in SDT and then 7% through the curve strategy. And what you could do with these SDT is sell half of them and stake them into this pool here. This way it's like you're taking profits into ETH and you're earning a yield on top of it. Now, given this huge Black Swan event that just happened, you may be somewhat reluctant to deposit any of your funds on the Terra network, but after reading the AMA and then going over everything that transpired, I'm confident that the UST peg is going to be restored, and this is going to be a learning experience for everybody that's working on the Terra network. And the team's already outlined a very robust action plan to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. And to be fair to the team, this is how these protocols are going to be tested. In legacy finance, a lot of platforms get tested in private betas. In DeFi, these protocols get tested in the wild. And it's all part of the iteration process. Either there's a bug, there's an economic hack, or something doesn't work out as planned. The team works very hard to make sure that the fallout isn't too big. And then after that, they act to make sure that nothing like that happens in the future. So with all that being said, I'd highly recommend that you guys always do your own research. But if you're comfortable depositing your funds on the Anchor protocol, it's another place for you to earn a very robust yield. If you deposit today, you'll get an APY of 18%. And my guess is that after everything is said and done and they recover from all of this, the APY will probably be above 20%. And lastly, we're going to cover Polygon. On Polygon, if you come over here to QuickSwap, which is basically the flagship AMM of the Polygon network, you can earn an APY of 45%. And the nice thing here is that unlike PancakeSwap, where they just give you the yield for your farming rewards, here they also display and combine the rewards that you get from the pool itself. So what that basically means is the pool is going to earn you fees, plus the QuickSwap protocol is going to pay you Quick Token for providing liquidity. And if you're not interested in getting exposure to the Quick Token and instead you just want to auto compound those rewards, you could bring that LP to beefy.finance on Polygon and earn an APY of 40%. And if you're open to taking a little bit more risk, there is a auto compounding protocol on Polygon called Adamant that was just released within the last few months. And if you deposit your LP pair here, they're going to auto compound your rewards and you're going to get about 10% because they take a significant performance fee, but you'll also get additional yield paid to you in the platform's native token called Addy. They do vest your tokens, and if you decide to withdraw early, they do charge a 50% withdrawal fee. But since a large portion of the performance fees go to Addy stakers, you could take all the Addy tokens you earn and stake them for a dividend. Now, I'm not going over these protocols just to show you guys where you can earn yield on your stables, but I wanted you guys to start thinking about how to put your assets to work once you guys start scaling out of crypto. Instead of waiting until the cycle is over to start allocating, I think a better strategy would be to start doing your research now, start understanding these various protocols, getting familiar with them. This way, when the time comes, you'll have more confidence deploying your funds. And you shouldn't just stop at these DeFi protocols. You should also look into some of these CeFi platforms like Celsius, BlockFi, and Nexo. Even though their yields aren't as high as these DeFi protocols, in my view, their relative risk is lower. So if you want to keep up with the innovation, you want to keep up with all these protocols that are being launched, in addition to subscribing to my channel, I also recommend that you guys subscribe to my free newsletter. Every Saturday, I send out updates on DeFi platforms and CeFi platforms to help all my subscribers stay on top of the rate changes and developments in the space. And if you're curious about what I'm doing on a daily basis and all the moves that I'm making, then make sure you guys head out to my Patreon page, because even if you join one of the lower tiers, for $20 a month, you'll get access to all my private channels where I publish my moves in real time. Or perhaps you're entirely new to the space and you want to expedite your learning. I also offer higher tiers that allow you to get one-on-one access to me. If you feel like any of the services would benefit you, make sure you guys click the link in the description below to access my Patreon page. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is CryptoOneStop signing out. I'll talk to you folks next time. Bye.